Hello everyone, it's Andy from the Pixel Pub. I'm here with my top 5 favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games. So I usually like to do these as top 10s, but this time I'm doing a top 5 because all my favorite Turtles games are in the 8 and 16-bit generation. There's not that many to go off of, but the ones that are there I really like, so I really want to do this list. So let's start out with number 5, and that is Turtles Tournament Fighters on the Super Nintendo specifically. I know there's a Sega Genesis version as well. I have that, and an NES version. Don't have that. It's mad expensive and not that great. But the Super Nintendo version was the one I played the most as a child. My brother had it. It is a fun fighting game. It is the best fighting game of the 3 by far. The Genesis one's kind of janky, and NES one is definitely janky. But this was the one that solidified my love for Donatello. Donatello is my favorite turtle. If he's not your favorite turtle, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I don't know what else to tell you. But in this game, he has the longest reach. He just whips that bow across the screen with the fierce punch, and no one can touch you. It's kind of broken for me. And if you get your little mutant bar full, and you hit all the buttons at the same time, he just whips his bow across, and a big fucking green dragon comes across the screen and tears through everything. It's great. But yeah, I already liked Donatello a lot from the first movie. He has that fucking sick fighting scene in the sewer where he does a big bat flip and goes, whoa! And he has all the best jokes, I think. Mikey's up there. Mikey's up there in the first movie, but I just really like Donatello. He's going to call you elf lips, stuff like that. But yeah, Turtles Tournament Fighters, number 5. Okay, number 4 is Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project, the last beat 'em up on the NES that Konami made, and then specifically made for the NES. It did not have an arcade version, as far as I know. It is a really fun game. It is inferior to the other ones simply because with this, it has the special moves like 2 does, where you can hit the buttons at the same time and do a little special thing. This one's cooler because each turtle has their own specific move. This one's less cooler because it has the thing where it takes your life away when you do it. And I never liked that mechanic in games. Like, if I can do the move, let me do the move. Why should I pay this price, this penalty? And then all the moves, some of the moves are just kind of whack. Like Michelangelo does just like a mule kick or something. Like he just kind of kicks across the screen. And Donatello's is kind of weird too. I guess the 2 best ones are Raphael's and Leonardo's because they seem more suited to the weapon that they have. But yeah, there's still a really cool game, a kick-ass soundtrack, great, fun, bright graphics. Is probably the best. Some of the best graphics on the NES is right here. Manhattan Project. It's a fun time. I remember renting it a lot as a kid, getting some pizza, playing that first level on the beach, just running around with Donatello. Oh, it does have that different special move. I just remember now where you hit up and B with the attack, and you can flip the turtles, the foot soldiers over your head for an instant kill, and that was great. But yeah, it's still inferior to the rest of the list. Number 4. Okay, number 3 is the most recent game on the list, and you probably know exactly what it is. That is Turtles Shredder's Revenge. So here I have the Switch version. I originally played it on the Xbox on Game Pass. It's just something I had downloaded one random Saturday morning and went to town, and I loved it. And I had the physical version for the Switch because I'd ordered it a long time ago, and it just sat on the shelf. But as soon as I got to playing the Xbox version, I was like, this game is amazing. And the Switch version comes with a coupon for Pizza Hut, personal pan pizza, just like a throwback should be. I also got 5% off for my limited run. Okay, does that expire? Anyway, but yeah, what a cool game. Just same thing with all these games. Amazing soundtrack, amazing fun, colorful graphics. The team at, I guess it's .emu, whatever, that made this really knew what they were doing. The only thing I don't like about it is they redid the cartoon version of the theme song at the beginning, and I think it had Mike Patton in it of all people, but it really didn't scratch the itch I was looking for. But the rest of the soundtrack, fucking outstanding. I guess it was T-Lopes really fucking knocked it out of the water with this throwback to just those old Konami arcade games. And especially, I mean, it sounds more like a souped up Super Nintendo soundtrack to me versus an arcade game. But I played Super Nintendo games more than arcade games back then. It's got all the fun characters. It's got all the big 6-player, all that stuff. Super cool stuff, but I'm going to pick Donatello all day long. And yeah, Shredder's Revenge, number 3. Okay, number 2 is Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, the Super Nintendo version specifically. It's pretty close to the arcade version, but I will still love the Super Nintendo version the most. I remember when I first got into like Super Nintendo emulation, I played this game a ton on the keyboard. Pressing like space to jump and shit like that. It was a wild time to be alive before I actually got a physical version of it to go in the Super Nintendo collection. But I still love this game to this day. It's got an amazing soundtrack. The arcade version should be up on this list as an honorable mention just for having the Coming Out of Our Shell song with the Pizza Power that plays during the attract mode. Super cool. I like turning it on our arcade 1-up in the dining room and just letting it play from time to time. But yeah, Big Apple 3 a.m. iconic line. Just a fun little wild ride through time. Like you fucking go to like, you fight on pirate ships, you fight on the prehistoric era. You go to the future and you're riding around on these futuristic skateboards and you're fighting Krang who's flying through the sky. And it's just a great soundtrack. Great, fun, colorful graphics. This should just be like I should make a shirt that says it. But yeah, I also have Turtles Hyperstone Heist here on the Genesis. This basically is based off Turtles in Time, but it is they just took some of the levels and rearranged them a little bit. There's some new stuff in it too. Like I think in this version, you start out in the sewers versus starting out in the construction site in Turtles in Time. But it's like, I don't know, 2.5 because it's essentially the same game, just little differences here and there. But I really like Hyperstone Heist, but Turtles in Time, far superior. Okay, now we're down to number 1. And it is one of my favorite games of all time. One of my favorite games on the NES. Now it's Turtles 2, the arcade game. And this is the NES version specifically. The arcade version I played, I played a little bit with friends. But never really scratched the itch like the NES version did. I guess because it was a home version. I didn't have to put in quarters. I didn't have to wait around. I didn't have to, I was a kid. I didn't have any money. So having this, my best friend growing up had it right down the road. And for, I don't know, it felt like a summer. Every Saturday morning I would go over to his house and we could make it to the second to last level with some regularity. Made it to the end maybe 1 or 2 times, but it just never got boring. Just played the snot out of this game and I had a great time with it. I love the soundtrack. I love the graphics. I love just that era of NES beat 'em ups that were just so quaint. And this just has all the fun stuff in space for me. I will still pop it into the NES from time to time and play around with it, play a level or two. At least get to the snow level, level 4, the level that's not in the arcade version, but it is in this version. It has the best music in the game to me, and you fight the little hopping snowmen that shoot rockets at you and stuff like that. And you fight this big polar bear in a fucking leather jacket at the end, which I never saw him in any other media, Turtles media, except for that game. So I don't know if he was made up specifically for that game or what. But this one also, Cowabunga, coupon for a free personal pan pizza at Pizza Hut. Limited run doing it right with this version as well. With a throwback. This is not in this one. This is just the box that I have from the local rental place that I got it from. Years after the fact the NES was a thing. It's just got manuals in it right now. Old manuals. What's it got in here? I don't even know. Star Fox 64. Okay. Yeah, Turtles 2. Best Turtles game of all time, according to me. If you got a top 5, leave it in the comments. That'd be a fun little time. See what we can argue about. We can argue about Turtles if you want to, but you're not going to convince me that Donatello is not the best. It's just not going to happen. But yeah, that's my top 5 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games. By me, Andy, from the Pixel Pub. Peace out.